Hello, good morning, everyone.
Morning, ma'am.
Morning, Realine, Maribel, Kizaya. So we are now 8. Let us view, let us admit first. Then afterwards, we will start with our lesson. Yeah, it is really good news because the midterm examination was postponed, a longer period that will start on that I had already uploaded it in our GC. So it will start on October 21. So that will be next week. Okay. So but we had already agreed in our previous meeting that was a days ago when it was not yet postponed, no, extended. The exam is not yet extended, and we had agreed that it will be up to chapter 4. Okay, but since it is prolonged, I don't know when will be the coverage for the midterm, but possibly it will be up to chapter 4. So we had already finished chapter 4. So we are now having our lecture 3 this morning. This is about representing molecules. Okay, so there are already 11 participants. Okay, we will wait.
Morning, ma'am.
Morning, Nicole, Realine, Melbert, Abiwell, Kapaman, Claire, we have Genevieve, we have Geraldine, Kizaya, Kyla, Leia, Maribel, Marisa, Nicole. Okay, we have already 12 participants. So there are already 12 students in our synchronous meeting this morning. Okay, so let us start. Yeah, as I have said that we had already quiz 1 to 3, diba? Okay, so we will have our quiz 4 by Monday. Monday, that will be the last quiz for midterm coverage. That will be uploaded on Monday and it will be finished by Tuesday or Wednesday, depende lang. Okay, kung sa inyong gusto, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Friday.
Kusog ra layo ra kaayo. Tuesday or Wednesday. I will upload it.
Wednesday.
Okay.
Wednesday, ma'am. Wednesday.
Okay. So Wednesday.
Ma'am.
I will upload it on Monday, then Wednesday gabi until 12. That will be our last quiz for midterm. And the coverage of that will be chapter 4, which is about covalent and ionic compounds. Okay, so actually this topic is just a continuation. So let us start. This is a continuation of our lesson, which is about covalent and ionic bonding. So this is about representing molecules. So how molecules are being represented. You already know in the previous lesson that we represent molecules by means of its attachment. No? So how it is being attached by means of the 3 attachment or the 3 bond that we had discussed previously. That is the ionic, the covalent, and the metallic. Okay, so this is what we are going to continue with our lesson this morning. Okay, so how it is being represented, how molecules are being represented, or how molecules are being attached, or how molecules are being connected, intertwined with each other. Okay, so in this lecture, we are going to delve more. We will have an in-depth of what is really Octet Rule. We had already known that Octet Rule before in our discussion, especially in the Lewis structure, diba? We already know that it should have an 8. To make it stable, the atoms in the molecule should have a configuration of 8, meaning 8 electrons, except hydrogen. Hydrogen will only have a maximum of 2. So we will also discuss furthermore about electronegativity and band polarity. We will draw Lewis structure in a deeper sense. Unlike with the previous that we had just a transfer of electron, wherein our have, for instance, sodium and chlorine, we see that sodium belongs to group 1, so it has only one dot, okay, meaning the outermost shell exceed with 1. And chlorine has 7, so it needs 1. So what we have is just to transfer that 1 electron with the sodium and to the chlorine, and that is now the ionic bond. That is the transfer of molecule of the atom, of the electrons, I mean, no? But here it will be in a deeper sense, no? We will draw a bigger molecule, okay? We will also know what are formal charges. We will also know what are resonance. For instance, benzene has 3 resonance, meaning it has 3 ways in writing the structure, but all of those 3 are correct, okay? Then we will have, so if there are, no, molecules or atoms that concede to octet rule, there are also exemptions. Okay, now gonna exemption. Now gonna siya, exemption to the rule. Now po din na siya chemistry. That is, what are those molecules which are exempted with the octet rule? Okay, so this is our course outline. Okay, so let us start now. The intended, the ILO, we have it ILO. We will use, can you still remember the electronic configuration? That is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, like that. Huh? So we will use that electronic configuration in order to draw the octet rule in a given compound. We will also use electronegativity difference. Arumabalaan nato, which are polar, which are non, which are, sorry, na klasiko, sorry. So we will have it here in this way. No? How will we know the nonpolar covalent? There are nonpolar covalent, polar covalent, and ionic bond by means of electronegativity difference. We look into the electronegativity difference, and in this way, we can identify by looking itself on the molecules, we will know if it is nonpolar or polar, no? And ionic bonds. We will also identify the stable form of Lewis structure using the formal charts. Then we will recognize, as I have said, those who are exempted to the rule with the octet rule. So what do you mean by octet rule? Huh? So octet rule symbolizes that the atoms, no, the electrons in an atom should have an 8 in order to have a stable configuration. Can you still remember this one? Huh? So it is being grouped. In our periodic table, our elements are being grouped from 1A to 8A. Then we have B also. So if you talk about 1A, meaning it represents that all of the elements in 1A has an outermost shell that is known as the valence electron. The valence electron has 1. Meaning tanan sila kanang 1A, it has an outermost shell electron of 1. Then 2, for instance, magnesium, Mg has 2, meaning it has 2 electrons in the outermost shell or in the valence electron. What does it mean by this? Meaning all of this in family A1, group 1A, 2A, meaning this one, meaning it exceeds, nah? the stability of the element. It needs to take away that one to make it stable. If it is in group 2, meaning it needs to take away, it could either be transfer or it could either be shared, no? So that it will be stable. Kanang naa sa tanan sa naatanan sa group 1A, kanang naa sa gawas sa inyong element, no, kanang electron sa inyong element, kana kinahanglan na siya i-share or kinahanglan na siya i-transfer to make it stable. That is what is meant by octet rule. In what way? It should be in 8 configuration. So, octet rule is being, it is being shortened into using the Lewis-dot structure so that we will know unsa ang naa sa outermost shell. For instance, 1A, lithium. So, naay 1. Beryllium, naay duha. Okay. Boron, naay tulo. Then, carbon, naay upat. So, carbon could either share, it could share this another 4 because it's 8. It should be 8. It needs to share this 4 electrons to make it into 8 with other elements. Okay, that is what is meant by octet rule. So here are the Lewis-dot symbol in group 1, group 2. So group 1, 2, that has a 1 electron, group 1. These are all the elements in group 1. Then for group 2, these are all the elements, so on and so forth. Only noble gas configuration, katong naa sa group 8, exempted na siya. Di na siya kinahanglan og octet rule. Kaya nga naman, it is already stable. That is why this group A, 8, 8A, are known as inert or stable, or these are known as noble gas. Nga naman, it does not need any electrons to make it complete because it is already in the 8 configuration. So it's already stable. Sige. So this Lewis-dot will help us to know what is the, this will help us to know what is really the number of electrons at the outermost shell, which is known as the valence electron. And this will help us also how to give it out, to transfer it, or to share, or how many electrons we need to transfer or we need to share. This is using the Lewis-dot symbol. How it is being done? Of course, it is being used in the periodic table. Okay. So atoms form covalent bonds to achieve 8 valence electron. In most cases, may gani kag covalent bond. You will find it out that covalent bond is with non-metal and another non-metal. Mostly metal with non-metal, it is a transfer of electron, or it is known as the ionic bond. But in most cases, for the sharing of electrons, that is done by means of covalent bond. That is non-metal plus non-metal. So, what do you mean by electronegativity? This is the ability of electrons to attract other electrons. So that is electronegativity. So looking into this, if there is a pattern in the periodic trends, napay patterns electronegativity. Actually, electronegativity is included in the periodic trends. As you can see here, the electronegativity has these values. Okay. Walay mo exceed of 4 ha. Maximum na ng electronegativity ng 4. No? So, electronegativity increases as it from in period, that is from left to right, it increases. Then if it is from top to bottom, it decreases. Or bottom to top, electronegativity increases. I repeat, for the period from left to right, electronegativity increases. From bottom to top, it increases. Pero from top to bottom, in the periodic table, it decreases. Okay, so these are the values of electronegativity. Kananay mga, okay, for instance, we have hydrogen. It has a value of 2.1. Okay, lithium has a value of, kanisunod, value of 1, sodium 0.9, 0.8, potassium, so on and so forth. Cesium is 0.7. As you can see here, going down, it decreases. Going up, it increases. Na? So, naana siya yung mga values daan sa electronegativity. Okay. So, these are the values, kana mo na values niya. Na? So, that is, what is electronegativity? This is the ability to attract electrons. Okay. So, how are we going to write the Lewis structure? So we have now the step-by-step procedure. First, we are going to count the total number of valence electron in a molecule or ion. Tibuok, no? Tibuok molecule. So if it is, kadumdum mo, if it is an ion gani having a positive charge. Okay. If it is an ion, add na electron for each negative charge. Duman ninyo ha, if it is an ion, add 1 electron for each negative charge. If it is cation, subtract 1 electron for each positive charge. Basta negative charge, add. Na? Negative charge gani, add. Positive charge gani, subtract. Ha? So, for instance, Na plus. Okay. So, it's plus. Okay. Unsa man na? If it is plus, meaning is-subtract na ninyo. No? That is for the Lewis structure. So, the next step is draw the skeletal structure of the molecule. For instance, CH4. Okay. Mabal-ana nato daan asay central atom ana ang C. Then upat ka hydrogen. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. That is what is meant by skeletal structure of the molecule. So how are we going to know the central atom? The least electronegative element that isn't hydrogen. No? So if you look into carbon, hydrogen, no? Kato akong example sa inyo. Carbon, hydrogen. Carbon, where is carbon? Carbon. Here. Carbon, 2.5. Hydrogen is 2.1. Na? Mas dako ang carbon kontra sa hydrogen. Okay. Here, the central atom is the least electronegative element except hydrogen. No? So, exempted na siya, meaning our carbon will be at the center, no? Except hydrogen. No? So, if carbon is 2.5, hydrogen is 2, but this is exempted. No? Basta na ay hydrogen. Step 3, place single bonds between all connected atoms in the structure by drawing line between them. For instance, we have carbon, then upat ka hydrogen. Draw line to hydrogen, hydrogen up, hydrogen left, hydrogen right, hydrogen down. Okay, that is how you are going to connect it by single bond. Diba kada single bond, pila ka electrons? Duha. So, if it is carbon, hydrogen ganiya 2, hydrogen 4, hydrogen ganiya 6, hydrogen ganiya 8. Meaning, it has a sharing of electrons. Your carbon and hydrogen has a sharing of electrons. Okay. So, place remaining valence electrons from step 3 on the individual atoms until octet rule is achieved. So, kana kong example is unlike with other because we have known that hydrogen has a maximum of 2 electrons. How about if it is other? For instance, NH3. N ngan ha. Then H ngan here. Then H ngan is ubos. H sa right side. Okay. So, kung tanaw nimo ang N og ang N og ang what call this? NH3. So, kuwangan ba ang usa ka imong tulo ka hydrogen? Kuwangan ang imong nitrogen og duha ka electron. So, butangan nimo sa ibabaw og duha like that. So, that is what is meant by place remaining valence electron from step 3 to individual atoms until octet rule is achieved. For instance, we have this formula. That is carbon, fluorine, chlorine. Now, take a look. Tan-awon day nato ang valence electron, total valence electron. Carbon has one atom. Then where does carbon belongs? Group 4. So 4 times 1, 4. Okay. Then fluorine, what group is fluorine? 7. How many fluorine? 2. You should listen. Okay. 2 times 7, 14. For chlorine also, it is in the group 7, meaning 7 electrons. So multiply by 2, sum it up, meaning there are 32 electrons that we are going to in place with this formula. So, ma'am, tanaw na pud nato ang asa may central atom ani. Sige. We already know that carbon has pila to? 2.5. Fluorine, tanaw na to sa electronegativity. Carbon 2.5, fluorine is 4. So, ang chlorine is 3. So, which is least electronegative? It's the carbon. Kaya nga naman, ang fluorine is 4, ang chlorine is 3. So, ang carbon maoy naa sa central atom. I repeat. So to, how will we know? How will we know we have 3? Diba? We have 3 atoms here, 3 elements. Carbon, fluorine, and chlorine. Sige. Ma'am, asa may central atom ani? Asa buta ang central atom? Tanaw na to which is least electronegative. Our carbon is 2.5. Our chlorine is 4. Please unmute your mic. Your chlorine is 3. So, ang pinakaubos is ang carbon. So, our carbon will be at the central atom. Naa siya sa tunga. Okay. Ma'am, pwede na mo ibutang ang chlorine nga. Yes, pwede na gihapon. Basta kay ang atong center is ang carbon. Diba? That is, what step is that? It is step 2. Step 3, place single bonds between all connected. Mung gani kag all connected, kanira sila ang connected, di ba? Kana. So, let us now place lines. That is here. Okay. Largo naman dayon. We'll have place line here. That is step 3. Okay. Mauna na siya. Unsa step 4? Step 4 is, okay, place the remaining valence electron from step 3. Okay. For instance, we have 32. Dumdumon ninyo ha. This is the total. This 32 is known as the total valence electron. Where did we get the total valence electron? By each counting the valence electron with the number of, in each element, the number of valence electron in each of the element. That is carbon 4, fluorine 14, chlorine 14. I repeat, asa maning 1, how many atoms of carbon? 1. Tapos, where is carbon in your periodic table? In group 4. Mo po niyang, kung unsa siya grupo, sa grouping sa periodic table, mo po na iyang valence electron, number of electrons in the outermost shell. So, it's 4. 1 times 4, 4. Then fluorine. Fluorine belongs to group 7. So, 7 ka-electrons di ang iyang naa sa iya, na valence electron niya. Then how many atoms? 2. Okay, multiply that, it's 14. Then chlorine, same process. It is in group 7. Then multiply how many atoms? How many atoms? There are 2. So, we need to have that 32. The next process is we will place now the skeletal structure. We already know how to place our carbon. Ngano nasa central atom? Ngano central? May central tunga. Ngano central atom siya? Because tanaw niyo sa electronegativity, siya pinaka-least. Ang carbon is 2, Ang fluorine is 4, ang chlorine is 3. Ay, butang na mo siya sa tunga. Now, then, let us have, okay, lines for this. So, pila ni ka-electron na niya? 2, 4, 6, 8. Kung sa isulti sa rule 4, ang the rest of the atom, 32 biya to ha, imo na dayo siyang i-distribute. So, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32. So, this is now the Lewis structure of carbon fluorochloride. Okay? Sabot? Okay. That is step 3, step 4. Okay. Another one, kani. So this is our example. Can you see here? It's covalent. Yan naman, it's non-metal with non-metal. The sharing of electrons is mostly done by means of covalent, not ionic. Ionic is transfer of electron. Sample number 2. We have here the phosphate ion. We have plus 3. Okay, unsa to step 1? Waon nato tanan sa kada kuhaon nato ang total valence electron. How to get the total valence electron? That is, get each of that in the element, in the compound or in the ion, okay, or in the given substance here. Okay, we have phosphorus. How many atoms? 1. Where is your phosphorus? It belongs to group 5. So 1 times 5, there are 5 electrons. Our oxygen, how many? We have 4 atoms. And where is your oxygen in the periodic table? It belongs to group 6. So multiply that, 4 times 6, that is 24. Add this up, that is 29. But, take a look, di ba yung ko ba sa anion o cation, it is either adding or subtracting. Basta negative gani, it is plus. Bali ha? Negative 3, so you add plus 3. Okay? Okay. So, sum it up, it is, kung positive ni siya, plus, 3 plus ni siya, o sa maibutan ni mo, minus 3. Mana mga bata? Okay. Here, it is now. It looks like that. Ma'am, unsa central atom? Understood naman yun mga bata. Kaya nga naman, ang pinaka-gamay is phosphorus man. So, lagi siya tunga. No? But if you're going to look into the electronegativity, tanaw po na ito, ma'am, electronegativity is phosphorus. Phosphorus, where is it? Where are you, phosphorus? Phosphorus is, asa madapit tabang?
2.1, ma'am.
Ha? 2.1? Pero ang oxygen is 3.5. No? So, it's still the same. No? So, it will be at our central atom will be our phosphorus. Unya na ni ay sana na nyo tanawa na anak. Phosphorus. Unsa is next? What is the next? Phosphorus na sa tunga. This is now the skeletal structure. Then butangan nato katong nag-connect sa connection niya sa phosphorus. Connected siya sa nganhaa sa oxygen up, another oxygen left, oxygen right, oxygen down. Sige, ma'am. Okay. Pila na siya? 2, 4, 6, 8. Unsay sulti? And the rest of it, pila to tanan? 32, no? And the rest of it, imo na siyang kuan sa mga element. Katong mga ibutang nimo siya sa aron mo complete. This one, ibutang sa oxygen. So this is 6. This is 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32. So 32. Pero this is having a charge, rumabalaan nga naa siya charge, imo dayon siyang ibutang sa bracket. Bracket tawagan na, no? Bracket. Then place 3. This is now the Lewis structure of your phosphate ion. Okay? Okay. So that's it. Because we are, ano pa time? Kuan pa ta? Sayang. How about having this? This is ethanol. Na? CH2CHOH. No? Ma'am, unsaon man na imo ra gyud na siyang isunod basta ang ani gani nga compound isunod na nimo carbon nga na, then hydrogen, then carbon nga na ay hydrogen, then oxygen, hydrogen. Okay, no? So, di man nimo ni siya pwede usara kabuk in central atom. Kay di ba? Ang carbon basta carbon gani naagyo na siya permi sa center. Okay ha? Tundong na ninyo, ang carbon naagyo na siya permi sa center. Unahon na to, let us get the valence electron. Okay, we have carbon, no? Pila ka carbon? Tanawan ninyo, mga bata. 1, 2. Duha ka carbon. Asa na belong ang carbon? Group 4 times 4. Sunod, ang hydrogen. Pila ka hydrogen? Dili usa-usahon na, iusa nimo tanan element ani. Pila ka hydrogen? That is 2, 3, 4. Upat ka atoms ng hydrogen, asa ang group sa hydrogen? Group 1. Then ang oxygen, 1. Then, pila ka, asa na group ang oxygen? Sa 6. So, sum it up, it's 18. Okay, 18. So, let us now have our, basta dumdumon ninyo ang hydrogen, maximum of 2 ra gyud na siya. Dili na mamuot ra bagyog ko ang hydrogen kay mamuwak. Butangan daig mga nganas ibabaw, butangan nga na, butangan dili ha. Sayop na siya. Okay. So let us now have the sharing. It looks like this. So your carbon, that is, karon ko manungan ni mga bata. Hydrogen nga na, hydrogen. Uy, ma'am, kuha nga no? O, tanaw ninyo kumpleto ha. Pila man ni tanan? 2, 4, 6. Pilay Octet Rule, 8. Nya na, ma'am. Okay. Then this is carbon again. This carbon here is hydrogen, oxygen, and hydrogen. Okay. Pila ka electrons tanan? Total valence electrons, 18. Pintahon na ito ng mga single. No? Kung atong gipang connect, pila na tanan? That is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So, naapatay sobra nga 6. Okay. Where are we going to place this? Take a look here. Pila man nga niya sa carbon. Kuha nga duha, di ba? Butangan na siya duha ka dot nga na. Pila na to? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Duha ka dot nga ni 12, 14. Kuwangan po ni siya. 14. Then, dungagan pa yun ni siya. Og duha pa. 16. Then, 18 man. Agoy, ma'am. Ang oxygen is kinahanglan na siya og pila pa? Duha ka pair. So mahimo siyang 20, dili pwede. So ani gani na meaning na ana siya double bond. Okay. So here it is. Take a look, di ba? Mao na ni siya, no? What happened here is kaning imong, if you are going to look into this kani tulo ra na siya. Tulo ka pair, 6 ra na siya. Kani okay ni siya kay 8 ni, no? Kaya ang oxygen ni ang anasto nga imong i-add na siya 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay na. Pero kaniray kuwang. What you are going to do is you are going to share that into with your carbon to make it double bond. Basta double bond gani pila ka buok, opat na siya. So pintahan ning carbon niya. Kaning carbon nga ni pila naka electrons tanan? 2, 4, 6, 8. Kani nga carbon nga niya pila na? 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay. Ang oxygen nga niya, it is 2, 4, 6, 8. Meaning this is now the Lewis structure of your compound. Okay? So I will stop sharing because it's almost time. We will have another. Okay. Okay. Let me see your faces.